So Black Panther Wakanda Forever is obviously the sequel to the 2018 film Black Panther, the Oscar-nominated, Best Picture-nominated film Black Panther, which I wasn't too keen on, but can fully accept that I am not the kind of person this film is trying to hit.
Its cultural significance, I think, is
that cannot be understated.
That's far more. I mean, like, to me, like, I don't really care for the film. I think, but it's one of them where, like, I think what the film meant to a lot of people, I think that's the strongest part of the film. But I do think, like, the film itself isn't great.
Yeah.
Especially that third act.
I think you can very easily separate the cultural significance of a film from the film of the film.
Yeah.
And I think the film of the film in Black Panther isn't one of Marvel's best.
I'm glad it got made.
Yes.
At the end of the day. That's like my thing. I'm glad it released.
And for what it's worth, I understand the Best Picture nomination. Mm-hmm. Do I agree? Do I agree with... I think it won like 3 Oscars.
I think it won...
It won score, visual effects, and costume design, if I remember right.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. Technical stuff.
Agree with visual effects for some of the film.
I wouldn't even say that.
What else was that the year First Man was nominated? No, First Man was the year after.
No. Was that
Wait, did Black Panther? No.
Black Panther didn't win.
No, it won. What did it win? It didn't win. No, because First Man was visual effects. What
What
was the other thing Black Panther won?
I mean, I hope it didn't win Best Visual Effects, because that movie looks like shit.
It does look terrible.
It looks terrible. Like, that's kind of the one point I will give to Wakanda Forever, is I do think, even though it does still have some iffy CGI, I would say overall the CGI is an improvement.
Yes. Mostly because there's no 2 Black Panthers fighting against each other in darkness.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Which, to be fair, makes, it does a lot for the film. Production design. Yeah, which I never got that category, if I'm being honest, because it's all green screen. So where's the production design?
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so with Wakanda Forever, it's fair to say there were some expectations.
Yeah. There was definitely a very, like, curious, like, feeling of how it was going to turn out, because obviously there was a lot of production history.
Yeah.
Even just beyond Chadwick Boseman's death.
Yeah.
There was also a lot of controversy surrounding some certain viewpoints that some people had.
Yeah.
Not naming names.
It's weird because this film felt cursed. So cursed. Mm-hmm. So obviously we had the untimely passing of Chadwick Boseman, God bless his soul, and what we also then had was, obviously we knew that someone had to replace him. So the whole idea was, is he going to get recast? Is a different character going to take on the mantle? And they opted to go with the different character taking on the mantle, and also
to kill him off screen as well.
Which I agree with that decision.
That's 100%. Kind of the best outcome, I think. It's the one that makes the most sense.
Unfortunately, the character who ended up taking on the mantle, it's been spoiled in the trailers, hasn't it? Basically,
it's one of them at this point. If you don't know who it is, you're a bit silly.
Yeah,
it's very, very obvious.
But spoilers be warned.
Yeah.
So Shuri takes on the mantle, Letitia Wright. Unfortunately for Marvel, Letitia Wright has some interesting views about certain vaccines, which aren't generally considered to be very helpful views specifically during COVID.
Yeah, because she basically dropped a bunch of anti-vax stuff in like December of 2020, which was like when the vaccine was about to drop, like the single worst time you could drop that.
Definitely, and I think that caused her not being vaccinated caused a ton of stress for the production.
Yeah, like I don't know if that's ever been confirmed.
Delays and a lot of stuff has been theorized.
I think what it was that she was injured.
Yeah.
And she was injured at one point, which meant that she was just out of action for a couple of months. But I think as well there was a couple of things where I think no one really knows, but I think there's theories that either she did get the vaccine, just hesitantly got it, or somehow Disney might have been able to like twist the arm a bit of like a law a little bit just to get her in.
And we're obviously here to discuss.
It is.
Like
It is.
But I think it's important to know the production history of a film.
Especially one that's I think has a lot of because it's got a lot riding on it. I mean, it's the sequel to a film that has a massive cultural significance.
You could argue is the most critically successful Marvel film.
Just in terms of the sheer impact. I mean, people. Give it its due. People still think about Black Panther. But most of the Marvel movies have just kind of
the Wasp.
Yeah, they just disappeared into thin air. Like no one, but like Black Panther, it has stayed because of the impact it has. On like a cultural level.
So, straight up, Wakanda Forever. What do you think? Just brief TLDR.
It's a film that has high highs.
Yeah.
But has annoying lows that I think once again shows the problem that Marvel has when every single thing they have to make has to rely on building to the future.
Yeah.
The main problem with the film is that it's not just a small scale character story. That's the problem. Because yes, it is a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. Yes, it is a couple of these things. But it's also like, but we need to set up these things. The Vibranium Wars. We need to set Ironheart up for a show. We need to bring...
Do you reckon this will link into Armor Wars somehow? As all good things should.
Yeah. I mean, I know... I believe it's already going to be tied into Captain America and Thunderbolts. They're already... And that's what I mean.
There was the lady from Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
The Val lady.
Yeah.
Who's in every Marvel thing
and
now.
has absolutely no reason to be in the movie. There is no reason for her and Everett Ross to be in this movie other than I
like Martin Freeman. I really like Martin Freeman.
I love him to bits.
But this movie is long.
This movie is so long and there is no reason. But I think I know the reason.
What's the reason?
He had a contract.
Yeah, probably.
For 3 movies. This is his 3rd movie.
But do you not think Thunderbolts would have made so much more sense?
Maybe. But I guess they wanted them in it. Well, I think, but I don't know whether he was already planned to be in it.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't know, but
what we do know is that this was a film that would have happened regardless of.
Well, that's kind of the weird part about it, because I do think it is a very respectful film in terms of. I think Ryan Coogler and the cast are very respectful about it. It's just that it's also still a Marvel movie, and there's still that idea of this would have happened no matter what, because Marvel can't have a movie not release.
No, absolutely.
They can't have that because they have it all planned out.
Unless it's Inhumans.
That's Inhumans.
It's a weird one to where there are 2 films here.
Yeah.
There's the film that you can tell I think Ryan Coogler wanted to make post Chadwick Boseman's passing, which is the respectful, tragic,
small story of trying to move on from loss and all of these different things, and maybe he did want to do the Namor movie before Chadwick Boseman's death. I completely can see that, because I do think there is something there with the Namor stuff. I don't think the actor who plays Namor's bad at all, but I do think the problem is there's a huge. I think the best way to describe it is that first trailer for Wakanda Forever is fantastic.
Beautiful trailer. Honestly, best thing the MCU's made.
But this is the thing. How much in that trailer actually shows the story?
No, there's not a lot of Namor.
There's barely any Namor. Barely any of that stuff, full stop. A couple of shots here and there, but for the most part, it is solely focused on Wakanda and those characters, whereas it's the other trailers where it starts to bring in that, and it's you can almost tell where it's you can see that it is 2 different movies. Yeah. But the problem is it's not able to juggle between them, because you can obviously tell that the Namor one gets way more attention.
How mad is it that so it's November, and next month Avatar 2 comes out. Mm-hmm. That's 2 films in 2 months with lots of water and blue people.
Lots of water and blue people, but I think we can guarantee that the Avatar movie does a hell of a lot better.
Well, this is doing really well.
Yeah. I mean that's
it's already beaten Black Adam.
No, no surprise there. But I don't know. I mean, I think Avatar will do better. We did see the trailer for Avatar. Before the movie. Yeah. And definitely a step up visually.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Like, I mean, Wakanda. I mean, I would say like for the most part, the effects in this one are a little bit better.
Yeah, its problem is Ryan Coogler. Someone needs to show him what the sun is.
Yeah, there's a really weird, like.
Yeah.
Like, there's like the one shot where when Namor introduces himself to Wakanda, and there's a shot where it pans to the water, and for a solid like 5-10 seconds, it's just showing the water.
Yeah.
But the scene is so dark.
Yeah.
Like you can't see anything.
Yeah, you have no idea what's going on.
It's just a dark screen for like 10 seconds, and then all of a sudden Namor, I think, shows up, but you can't really see him.
And that's a lot of the first half.
And it's
first
one
two
of the,
acts.
and it's like, but the problem is you can't even really be like, oh well, it's like, because it's not a streaming movie, it's a movie in cinemas.
Yeah.
There's no real excuse as to why it looks like that.
Yeah.
The streaming movies, it's typically for stupid reasons, and streaming movies have that problem.
Well, you
But
can imagine
cinema,
a lot of it's to hide maybe some shoddy CGI.
Possibly, yeah.
Some shoddy effects work.
But it's like, but at the same time,
But you are also a 300 million film or whatever. How
you
much
shouldn't.
it costs.
Yeah, like you shouldn't have to be hiding
Yeah,
effects.
yeah.
And I mean, that's never stopped. I mean, Marvel's they've never stopped themselves from hiding shit effects. Let's be real. Fucking hell.
I think the film loses me because one, it's boring because it's so long.
It's
so long.
obscenely long.
So long. But then also, it lacks a consistent sense of satisfaction and payoff.
Yeah, like it just doesn't have any narrative momentum.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem, is because it's trying to be all these different things, and it can't. It's like it's trying to do so much at once, so it kind of just feels overstuffed.
Even the scene-to-scene payoffs don't work.
Mm-hmm.
It builds towards Namor City.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Namor City for the first time. It should be this beautiful moment that pulls you in.
And
you see this beautiful landscape, this beautiful city. It could be beautifully lit.
And it's just you sort of shrug.
It reminded me of the city from Ready Player One, like the main real life city, but underwater.
Yeah, it's just
where you can't see it.
Yeah, it's like it. I remember I was genuinely thinking, oh, yeah. They were really building up for that moment.
And I can already see the YouTube commenters pulling out the keyboards and saying, but if you ever go underwater in real life, it's poorly lit. We're watching a film about a man with wings on his feet. I'm sure we can excuse the water being lighter than it normally is.
It's also a movie.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
I'm watching a visual medium.
There's no excuse for watching a movie.
Yeah, for intentionally sabotaging your visuals.
Yeah, it's like, look, I understand if you want a dark scene to look dark.
Yeah.
That's fine. But you also need to understand that, like, you still need to be able to see it. I mean, yeah, if you turn all the lights off in a room, you can't see. You can't see. But when you're watching a movie, unless that's a very purposeful decision, and there's a reason why you're doing that, there's no reason why if you film a scene where all the lights are off, you can't see anything. Because you still need to be able to at least see. It doesn't need to be like brightly lit.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to look like you put the brightness on full max on a game, but you got to at least have it look, viewable.
Yeah,
but I think that's the problem. It's like Ryan Coogler, but that's the thing, is like it is kind of like a one step forward, two steps back. Because I do think while he struggles with that, I think Wakanda itself, I feel like it feels more alive.
Yeah.
Because my main complaint with Black Panther is the CGI is that terrible that like it ruins Wakanda as a place.
Yeah.
Because it looks so fake. Like those shots where like, at like the river, and you have like everyone like still just standing and stuff, and like I remember in the trailers like that looked great, but then in the movie you can clearly tell they're on a green screen.
Yeah.
And it's so fake, and it looks like that, and it ruins that scene because it's
Yeah.
what's meant to be an immersive scene is ruined because it just looks like a bunch of people on a green screen.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. But I do think with this one, because I think there was a little bit more practicalness and practical effects, and people were actually there.
Yeah.
You could, like the difference is night and day. Like where people.
I wish Ryan Coogler knew the difference between night and day.
But
I do think, as much as Eternals was bad, I think Eternals did introduce Kevin Feige to the world of outdoors.
Yeah, which
and I think that could be a massive thing moving forward.
That blew his mind when that happened.
I saw grass.
I genuinely, the way he talked about that, he was like, she like filmed outside, like whoa,
outdoors.
Like
what?
Like that was insane. Like how
she like handed Kevin Feige a blade of grass. He just started freaking out on the spot. No, what did you think of Ironheart?
Boring.
Really?
A completely boring character that had like nothing to do.
Okay.
Like I mean, the actress isn't bad in it. It's just that like she has, consider how important she's meant to be to the plot. Yeah. She kind of just gets sidelined, and like it's a shame because I think considering that this is meant to sort of lead to an Ironheart series, I don't really feel like I want to see her character in a movie.
Yeah,
I feel, or you know, or in like a show. I feel like I just don't really care about her character. She's very dull.
I liked her a lot until we got to Wakanda, and I'm interested to see her in a show because I think the actress has a lot of natural charm.
I think the actress like done a decent job in the role.
I thought the line delivery was actually quite excellent for a lot of it. I just thought in terms of her and the actual it was landscape of the film.
It felt like it literally felt like they shoehorned her in. I don't think I've seen a movie where a character's been felt more. I mean, her only competition is Everett Ross in that movie because he's in it because it was so bizarre in that movie how like you'd have all these things and then like all of a sudden you just cut to
Martin Freeman just
doing his American accent,
doing some things with a bead.
Yeah, and then I don't know, like talking to like someone and then the president's being like, the president's about to fucking like send a nuke to Wakanda and that goes nowhere. You never hear that again.
Goes nowhere.
Like that goes no. Like I couldn't believe that. Yeah. When they kind of imply like the president's basically about to declare war on Wakanda and then. They don't even pay off like it wasn't Wakanda. Well, they don't even pay off any. They don't pay off these things. There's like these like where it's like, I mean, really, I guess. I mean, because obviously there's the whole thread of like they don't want Namor where he is. They don't want to be exposed.
Yeah.
They don't want people. So I understand why they don't want to expose them. But it's one of them where like it's bizarre because this war, it's very like. It feels like they want it to be very large scale because it's a global thing where they kind of, where like this whole thing of Wakanda, apparently basically like committing acts of terrorism by attacking other countries and doing things that would, basically be a declaration of war. But the problem is and that stuff's really interesting, but the problem is that stuff, again, just feels shoehorned into the movie because it's there and then it's just gone. Yeah. And it's like, I honestly thought there was going to be a bit more, but then you think in the grand scheme of things, no one's really that involved. Like there's that scene of when someone passes, there's a news report on it. Yeah. But there's nothing else. There's no and it's frustrating because it's like it feels detached, but it wants to be attached to something. Yes. It wants to be attached to like this grand thing, but it still wants to. It's bizarre. Like
I'd rather see something that focuses more like. I mean, thing is, there was an interesting enough conflict there of two nations between whatever the underwater place is called and
Wakanda. There's an extremely
the rest of the world.
But it's like, and it's one that way, like, but at the same time, it's like we don't need them. But I think if you're gonna have them there, at least commit to it. Yeah, at least have it there, be more involved.
Don't it be a 4-hour film?
I mean, if it needed it.
No, but if it earned it, then
if it, I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. The problem, the film's length isn't a problem necessarily. The problem is how it uses it.
Look, I'm a master at using long things. Genuinely, I said to you, Endgame is longer.
It's 3 hours.
But I would watch Endgame twice before I watch this again.
Yeah, because that's the thing with Endgame is I don't even like Endgame that much, but like that's a movie that admittedly uses its pace quite well because it's clearly a free act structure.
It's a 3-act structure.
The first hour, the second, the third are very, very distinct. And
it's jumping. There's narrative momentum. There's payoff.
Yeah, there's constant payoffs, and whether or not it's a good movie, it's like but I think the pacing of that movie is pretty good for what it's
Arguably
worth.
the best thing about it.
But like Wakanda Forever,
there's just nothing.
Yeah, it feels more like it's 161 minutes because it's bloated and needed
really
a cut.
Drags.
Because there's so many subplots.
By like the 40th minute, I was feeling like I was being dragged through the film.
Because that's the thing. Is like I would say the first 20-30 minutes I was really into it.
Yeah.
Loved like the music. I loved the style of it. I loved the use of silence. I really liked the vibe of it. But then it gets to a certain point where I feel like once like that bridge fight ends,
yeah,
it just boom flatline because it loses all momentum because it feels, and it's one of them by the end I was like fucking hell, hurry up and end.
Yeah,
I like the ending a lot,
yeah.
But again I feel like that feels like it's from a different film.
That's fine.
It feels like I think like that would have, again, these movies need to Marvel needs to understand that it's okay to have a movie where it doesn't have to set up other things. It's okay to have a small scale Black Panther movie. Because even the whole thing of like Wakanda is broken because there's no Black Panther, but I don't feel like you see that. No. You never see Wakanda really.
Well, Wakanda never once feel in danger because everyone in Wakanda is very overpowered.
Yeah. It doesn't help as well that it jumps a year.
Yeah.
Either, which I thought it would have been more interesting, I think, to have it take place
straight after. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe we're like everyone's still mourning the death.
You'd feel a lot bigger sense of panic if we had the whole T'Challa dies, and then basically immediately after Wakanda under attack.
Yeah.
By sea people.
Yeah.
That's panic.
Yeah, and it's one of them where like because they're consumed by the grief and the mourning process and the loss of someone, that is sort of that's where like, because they're not at 100%. The problem with the year gap is that we don't really see enough of how these people reacted to it. And of course, maybe that's an intentional choice by Ryan Coogler, and that's absolutely fine. I just know for me, I think there's something where like the film feels a bit detached because it feels like the Chadwick Boseman intro feels more like you tried to get it out of the way.
Well, I do think that the 1 year later is more a case of wanting to avoid having to too heavily rewrite the script.
Yeah, because that's the problem.
It is that sense of detachment. That's what it was going for.
And it's also
less of a decision, more of a buck.
Yeah, because it's one of them where at the same time, and I'm sure this isn't the case, but that intro feels a bit like, oh shit, we need to do something for the beginning, and then we can get to the actual movie. Yeah, because it just goes, hey, 1 year later. Yeah, and it's weird because I'm sure that's not the case, but that's how it comes across. No, when it's like, here's this intro, okay, we've got the Chadwick Boseman stuff out of the way. Yeah, and it's like, but I feel like there's something a bit more effective if they done something where like, yeah, they still have the funeral, and then maybe you do like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks later. Yeah, you totally have a time jump, but do like a small one where we get to see Wakanda at a time where they're broken. No, exactly. Or like where people are at odds. Because the problem is you don't.
I think the Wakanda Forever title would also hit way harder.
Yeah, because Wakanda doesn't really. It's one of them. Because we needed a movie, I think, about Wakanda and about these people.
Well, we're getting a show about Wakanda apparently.
That's what I mean. It's like
a Wakanda show about. I always think is a slight prequel. They've been saying.
I mean, I guess, but I feel like if they did a Jordan Wakanda Forever, that'd be really weird.
It's the Okoye. I don't know how to pronounce the name properly. Okoye, the one who ends up becoming a miracle angel. I think it's their backstory, their origin story.
When is it set?
Not sure.
Is it set before the Black Panther movie?
I'm assuming. I don't know how they're gonna pull it off.
Maybe it's interesting. Maybe that'll be good. I mean, that's the thing. I do think Wakanda's an interesting place, and a lot of the ideas that Wakanda Forever and just Wakanda has in general are very interesting. I just don't think it does a good enough job as a film to properly articulate them. Yeah. Because it's so focused on being a Marvel movie. Yeah. And the tribute movie, when the tribute side of things and the more slow, sort of thoughtful movie gets lost.
Yeah, completely.
Because it's also like, oh, it still needs to be a blockbuster. It still needs to be like, oh, like Namor, like CGI fights and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, those things aren't bad, but you lose something because you're still using the same script. Yeah, you're still using the same story when it's like, yeah, they might not have wanted to heavily rewrite the story. Yeah, but maybe they just should have just went. But like,
I think they should have anyway.
Yeah, but it's like also tough. Like you know, you're in a situation that's tough, and you know it's hard to figure out the best way to do it. But I think just going, okay, let's just keep going with the story, but let's just sort of attach this to it. Yeah, isn't the right way to do it.
No, absolutely.
It would have been better to maybe save Namor for something else, or find a way for Namor to be in it in a way that makes sense, and which I'm sure there is. I mean, you know, it's not my job to do that. Yeah, that's the that's the writers. Yeah, that's Marvel's job to do that. Yeah. I'm not against Namor being in it. I'm against the fact that it's still a Namor versus Wakanda movie with like the tribute to Chadwick Boseman kind of shoehorned in. Yeah, which is odd. And it's like, I think, and to be fair, I do think the tribute stuff is done really well, and I do think they went into it with a lot of sincerity, but I do think there's still an iffiness because we know this film would have been made no matter what. We know this film would have come out.
That being said, the final scene is really good.
The final scene is great.
Really good.
Don't know why there's a post-credit scene.
Don't know why there's a post-credit scene.
But
I think the post-credit scene is kind of stupid.
The post-credit scene isn't necessary because they could have just had the film end with that.
I agree, but I like the ending.
Oh yeah, no, I like the actual ending.
And I would have rather had the actual ending.
I mean, if I was doing it, I'd want the film to end with like no music either. Yeah. And it just cuts to black. Cause I feel like, I really like in the beginning how it uses silence on the Marvel logo. Yeah. I think they're the best part of the film for me is when there's no when they use silence like that, and when they use like quieter moments. That's when the film really hits. Yeah. It's when it's that ending I do like, but I don't know if I like that it just cuts to a Rihanna song. Right. When I'm like, maybe it would be more effective.
Being silent would have been a really nice touch.
Yeah, because it would have been again. It would have matched what we had in the beginning. Yeah. Because I do think the beginning and end have that very similar energy. Yeah, no, it would have been a nice little touch. That I think would have really hit people. Yeah. Whereas I think having it end with that and then here's the post-credit scene, which definitely does feel more like they needed one than they did actually because it's weird how it's done because it literally is just the rest of that scene, which is I don't think Marvel's ever done that for a post-credit scene where it has just literally just went back.
It just continues on.
Yeah, it's odd.
It is and I'm not sure how I feel about the AI kid as well. I'm sorry, that kid sounds like an AI. It just sounds like a robot.
I don't mind that scene. It's
hello.
It's a nice.
My name is T'Challa. I am the new Black Panther in Black Panther 4.